his recent election victory and saying he looks forward to a fruitful dialogue.
President Moon, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have you at the White House and your very beautiful and lovely wife. We appreciate it, and we're going to have tremendous discussions tonight.
Trump said he expects the discussions on trade issues and on ongoing tensions with North Korea. Moon is attending the White House dinner after meetings earlier in the day with congressional leaders. The Goodwin fire in central Arizona is now spanning roughly 25,000 acres. Forest officials monitoring the blaze south of Prescott say it's burning out of control. Member station KNAU Ryan Heinches says more communities have been evacuated.
Thousands of residents are out of their homes, with the Goodwin fire more than quadrupling in recent days. It's burning in thick vegetation and dry conditions on the Prescott National Forest. But Todd Abel with the fire management team expects crews to increase containment of the wildfire.
Winds are going to be down today. We're looking at 10 to 12 mile per hour winds today, which will help the firefighters. That's what caused all those issues the days prior to, is the wind driven.
Nearly 1,000 personnel are now fighting the Goodwin fire, but residents in the town of Mayer have been allowed to return to their homes. Governor Doug Ducey has declared a state of emergency in Yavapai County in the central and western part of the state. For NPR News, I'm Ryan Heinches in Flagstaff.
A difficult day on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed down 167 points at 21,287. The Nasdaq closed down 90 points. That was a drop of 1.4%. You're listening to NPR.
We have robotics team loaded, queued up, and ready to boot up this show. Plus, tech stories, opinions, and your calls coming up next.
It, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip, unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jam, unlock it, surf it, scroll it, pause it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it, Technologic.
Live from studios in Self Hall on the beautiful campus of Jacksonville State University, it's the Hey Techies Show. Now, here are your hosts in chairs that should have been thrown out years ago, Michael, Bruce, and the Guru.
Welcome in to the Hey Techies Show. We have guests in the house, and we'll introduce those shortly. But I want to welcome everybody in. And Guru, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic.
And Bruce is in the house. The problem is,
I see him out there. He's studying right now.
He's in the green room. The problem is there's just no seat for him. So
there's no room in the end.
We had to have. We brought in guests, so that we had to kick Bruce out.
Sorry, Bruce.
He was the last one to show up, so he didn't have a seat. So anyway,
first come, first served. Right?
Yeah. You been doing okay?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go again.
I keep on trying to adjust this gain. There. Yeah. I'm doing great, despite it's a nice rainy day.
Yeah, it is.
That's okay.
I guess somebody asked me if I brought the rain back from Mobile.
Yeah, you did. Why'd you bring the rain back from Mobile?
I don't know. Actually, it wasn't a bad trip.
It rained while you were gone, too. So.
Yeah. It did. Flooded.
Yeah, and by the way, we missed you last week.
Yeah,
man, where's Michael?
It was a good show, though.
Was it? Did you really enjoy it? Oh, good.
Yeah. Bruce got the This Week in Hey Techies. I mean, This Week in Tech.
This Week in Hey Techies.
Yeah, This Week in Tech History.
Yeah.
Bruce got that. No problem.
Of course. Well, you nailed it like the week before.
I
was bragging on you.
A guess.
But you got it.
A hope and a prayer.
Hey, there's no penalty for guessing.
We got plenty of crazy stuff going on.
Like this MacBook in front of me. It's been trying to install an update the last 45 minutes.
And your MacBook is not responding.
Well, it's just the little thing's spinning. I'm fixing to have to force it to restart, maybe.
Okay.
Anyway.
But when you call, and if you do get a chance to call, 256-782-5600. And you can be on the Hey Techie Show. And when we bring the White Plains Robotics team in, if you want to call and talk to them and ask them a question, that might be a good idea because it might be better than what I've got. So anyway, a couple of them have actually been here recently, and they have another team member, which we're going to introduce shortly. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Still a lot about this infamous thing called Russian hacking, which cracks me up. I I just have to laugh. It's fascinating how many people believe that they could have changed the votes in the election. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
and
we don't want to get in. We don't want to get into politics.
I do because it's just crazy.
Yeah.
You got Podesta on the TV this morning talking about he's being interviewed about Russian hacking, but yet his whole role in this was he gave up his credentials on a phishing scam.
And we covered that on the show back when all that was breaking.
I know, but
during that election
it's just
stuff.
Absolutely ridiculous. I just find it fascinating that a lot of people don't know this. But anyway, the reason I bring that up is I hope in the second hour that we can talk about. I would like to educate people. I know that they may not know this, but you can stop from being a victim of a phishing scam. It is not difficult. It's very easy. There's a few steps to take, and we can teach you. The three of us can teach you how to not be a victim in a phishing scam. And I'm not talking about catching fish. We're talking about pH. Okay, that's where somebody emails you something and you put your credentials in. And I think Guru is going to try the one-finger discount here on his MacBook.
One-finger discount?
Yes, his MacBook, and hope it responds. But anyway, that'll be coming up in our dose, and, of course, Bruce will be coming up soon, too.
Yeah.
But I do want to bring in we'll have a break coming up here, but I do want to bring in our robotics team. Now, you're going to have to pull the mics there to you, okay? So we'll go down the line here. But we have Tucker. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you.
Great. And Noah's back.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah, good. So Noah and Tucker were here earlier, I think back in May, and then we've got Jacob on the end. Now, Jacob, how are you?
I'm doing good tonight.
Okay. Pull that mic up when you're gone. Let me talk to Jacob for just a second. So pull that mic up to you. No hurries. Okay.
It won't bite much.
Right. It won't shock you much. Now, Jacob, you weren't here last time, but you went to Worlds as well, right?
Yes, sir.
And you were on what team?
9225B.
9225B. And so you were also, if I'm not mistaken, we'll get into it more later, but you were also a team that won all of state. Is that correct? Okay. We'll talk about that later. And I want to get into a little bit. I understand you all know what you're going to do for next time, and you've been working on a little bit, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've been scheming up some things, cooking up some things for next year's game.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
So we got to be careful, though, here. Because on the radio we can't get, because the girls are sharp, and I know if they listen, they're going to be trying to hoard in on what y'all might be coming up with. I know you got to watch them, and of course Bo is not here. Bo would have been here, but he's in Korea. He's in Korea. He's visiting family.
Yeah,
and we actually have a 7-second delay just for Bo, because when he's here, you never know what he's going to say. So we probably want to use that tonight, but you have to be careful with Bo, because he may be listening. So y'all be careful what you say about him. He may be. Let's see, Korea. It's probably what?
What's that Siri?
It's like.
What's the current time in Korea?
It's probably 7 a.m.
Let's see.
Time in Seoul, South Korea is 9:10 a.m.
Oh, it's close.
Yeah, it's 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, so
they're 14 hours
He could
ahead.
be listening.
Yeah, he probably is.
That wouldn't be too bad off. Yeah. So anyway, we'll have to be careful what we say about him tonight. Since he's not.
Say nothing but good things.
Right.
He's the best teacher ever.
Yeah. Sure. Well, Noah, grab that mic. How have you been?
I'm doing good. I've been doing good.
Yeah. Now, I understand you've been doing some summer work.
Yes, sir.
That's great. You've been catering, I guess? Is that part of it?
Yes, sir. I'm a server over at Classical Noble.
Oh, there you go.
So go over to Classical Noble.
There you go.
Yeah, little shout out.
Yeah.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
And Tucker, what do you got going on this summer?
Not really much.
Just enjoying the summer.
Yes, sir.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, enjoy it while you're young, because one day you'll have to work every summer forever.
That's true.
Unfortunately.
Enjoy it while you can.
Hey, well, speaking of that, off the subject here, but Kay Ivey, our governor, signed the legislation, so the state employees, and that would end up including us, we're going to be off for Monday, the 3rd.
But hey, Techies, we're never off. We're working on this show 7 days a week.
That will be Thursday. Let's see, that'll be Thursday. So that'll be the following 4th, 5th, 6th, I guess it is. July 6th would be the next show, correct?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of that, this is episode 98.
Correct.
So if you do your math, and I can do this math in my head and not embarrass myself, so in 2 weeks from today, episode 100 of Hey Techies will go on the air.
Right.
We'll hit a huge milestone.
Right.
So if you got any memories from the show or anything you'd like for us to talk about, anything you want to share, any embarrassing audio clips, just send them to questions@heytechieshow.com.
Yes.
And it may make the episode 100 show. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. I don't know if anybody's saved any. I guess they could go back through
they could.
podcast.
Maybe our main man Micah will find something.
Yeah. He's busy in Maine. I don't think he's interested. Well, when we come back from an early break here, we're going to get with our robotics team and find out what they've got to talk about tonight. So the Hey Techie Show will be right back.
We're just getting started. Plenty more Hey Techies Show for your listening pleasure.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladica Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Welcome back into the Hey Techie Show.
And Bruce is not in the studio to say if he approves of our bumper music.
Yeah, you know. He I'm sure he does.
Of course.
Yeah. All right, so Jacob. Let's start with Jacob here. So tell me about state. Now well, first of all,
let's back up. So White Plains High School has 3 robotics teams for VEX, correct?
Yes, sir.
9225A, B, and C, correct?
Well, we have 4 this year, but we had 3 last year.
Okay. 4 for this upcoming year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but this previous school year just ended at 3. And all 3 of the, at least at the high school level, qualified for VEX Worlds. Now that's just, I think we said this last time that we had them on the show, but that's just remarkable. And on top of that, you had other teams. White Plains had a middle school team that made it to Worlds, correct?
Yeah, elementary team.
Yeah, the elementary, the VEX IQ. Plus, you had a team from Ohatchee High School and Alexandria High School. Is that right? Did I cover them all? I think so.
Sure.
But just think about that. In little Calhoun County, Alabama, we had that many robotics teams make it to Worlds. And it's represented there's 40 countries represented at this event. That's just remarkable. So, give yourselves a pat on the back if you hadn't already. But that's just remarkable. I wanted to throw that out there for our audience. So,
but now, Jacob, you all, what did you win at state? How did that work?
We won the tournament, so we went all the way to finals and won the final match.
Okay. So you actually won the actual game matches on the floor, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I think that you can win some other awards, and y'all won some other awards at state, correct?
Yes,
and then, of course, at Worlds, which is amazing. Now, what I was going to ask, what are the other members of your team so those listening can see?
Truett Cagle.
Troy?
Truett. He's the builder.
Right, Truett.
And Noah Sparks.
Noah.
He's
Another Noah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you had 3 on your team. Now, I understand you're going to have a 4th team. So is that about the same amount members? Is 3 about good? Okay.
It's about 3, yeah.
All right. So I guess they're still going to have the ladies. They're going to have the girls team, and then you've got. What is the other one? Is it all guys too, or okay?
The girls team, 2 of them graduated.
Yes.
So it's 2 new girls. And
okay.
Then one of them from last year. So
awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I knew that the other 2 were about time to graduate. Had to be close. Okay. All right. So you get to state, and it's pretty exciting there, I know.
Mm-hmm.
And so how well did you do in the matches? Obviously you won, but did you ever lose a match the entire time?
We lost quite a few matches. Towards the end, we actually started getting kind of skeptical on how we're going to perform the rest of the day. But something kind of happened that basically helped us get through the finals and quarterfinals and, take us to win.
Now, I remember from our last conversation, your robot, you had a lift that was throwing the cubes over, right?
Yes,
now,
sir.
what was yours? Did you ever have a similar what was your robot?
Ours was we had more of like a tong robot.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a lift, and it had 2 tongs that would stick out.
Okay.
And grab stars and cubes, and it would throw them over.
Okay. Did you do the high hang or anything like that? Y'all did?
We attempted. We were going to do a hang, but it would just be too complicated, so we just stuck to what we had.
Okay.
Yeah, all 3 of our teams tried to attempt the hang.
Yeah.
None of it turned out well. So
was there a lot of teams that were successfully able to do the hang? Did you observe?
There wasn't a lot there was a lot at Worlds. There was a ton of teams at Worlds who could do it, obviously, because these are the best people.
Yeah.
But at State, there was a few teams that could do it. Some took a longer time to do it, so it wasn't worth it in the end. But I think there was 1 or 2 in Alabama who could do it in like 3 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So
if you can do it that quick, it's actually worth it.
It's worth it.
Because
it's 12 points.
Yeah, that's what I was to say about the point value. Maybe we need to go over, for the people who may have missed it the last time. So you got the hang was 12 points if you was able to successfully hang. High hang. And there was a lower hang, right, with 4 points. And then the rest of the game was the stars and the cubes, throwing them back and forth. So, sorry about that. Technology is not agreeing with us today. Sorry about that. Anyway, so you got the stars. It was like
1 and 2 points.
Yeah, because there was a near zone and a far zone. So depending on how far you could get it, that's when time expired, wherever they laid on the other side. So, and then the cubes were
2 and 4.
2 and 4. So for the further ones, it was 4. Near was 2.
Okay.
I just to lay that out there.
So like the hang, if you could hang in time to make it worth it.
Yeah.
But if it took you too long, it would have probably been better for you to just get cubes and stars over, because the point value, you could probably score 12 points if it took you that long.
Correct.
Right.
So it wouldn't really be worth it. It probably wouldn't have been worth it for us. So
yeah,
we decided not to go with it. So
that's what we realized. We realized that while we were hanging, our opponent team, could be scoring on us.
Right.
It would just be better to just focus on scoring.
Right. Now did you team up with the other teams, right? So you were able to pick. Who were you teamed up with? State? Do you remember?
We were with Oak Mountain and Madison County.
Okay. Is that in the first part of the match? Is that in all the matches, or is that's later on, right?
The qualifications are just random. So the people you could be with the worst team there, or you could be with the best team there. So it's just random. But once you start picking people, that's after qualifications,
right?
And you get your ranking. That determines who gets to pick who, basically. And they got picked by Oak Mountain, which they're a very good team. They probably had the best robot at State, and they got chosen by them, and they went on to win everything. So that was.
I definitely think that helped us.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the alliance thing is a key to, especially when you're trying to win the whole shebang at doing the competition piece. That's a big deal because it's both of you working together.
Yeah, so you have to try to get in good with everybody. Like, don't make anybody upset. Try to be nice to the really good team, so like they might pick you, or you can pick them, and you can work together well.
Right. Yeah.
Noah, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to. You want to be looking out in like qualifiers, especially like some of the people that are higher ranking. They'll go around and they'll like a scout on their team, and they'll just go around and look at people and see who they think they'd be paired with good. You can't just choose any robot. I mean, there are like some tournaments that just one chooses two. They decide two best. Let's go with it.
Yeah.
But a lot of tournaments, what happened, like especially like State and Worlds, like strategy was involved. We can work well with this person. They have something that they're strong in that we're not, and like at Worlds, everyone had scouts going around.
Yeah, teamwork was a huge factor in state and especially Worlds, because you had to make sure that your robot was like a couple to the other robot, because if you kind of like clash together and mess each other up, you're not going to pick each other because you don't work well together. So like teamwork was a big thing in state and Worlds.
Okay. So you've got the robot now. How? Just a little bit. I know you know the next game coming up next year. You've already. How much are you all going to have to change it to? Is it a total breakdown and build back up? You think
entirely?
Total redesign.
Yeah, entire redesign.
Okay.
Well, you could keep the drivetrain if you wanted to, because I mean, you really like. You always put like a lift or something to move game objects, but I mean your drivetrain you're always just going to drive. But I think we all ended up changing ours anyways because we wanted to improve on it.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, we're definitely changing our drivetrain. We were going to start out with something called X Drive, but this year we are changing our drivetrain. We kept our previous year we kept the one from the year before that because it worked fine. But we're changing it this year to make it more efficient for the game.
Okay. This is a different playing surface a little bit. It's the same size, up for my understanding, but I think there's a hump or somewhere, right? How's that going to work, or is that
no, sir. There's PVC pipe.
Okay.
I guess in the two opposite corners, like blue and red.
Oh, okay, all right.
And it's like there's a 1-inch pipe and then there's a 3-inch pipe, and then that separates the zones because this year's game is called In the Zone. And there's a 5-point, 10-point, and 20-point zone. So that PVC like separates those zones. So you have to be able to drive over that 1-inch pipe.
Right. Okay. All right. That's okay. All right. But now, what is so you do you have? I think do I have it right? It's cones that you have to stack or move one way or the other.
Yeah. One of the ways you can score is there's a stationary base, because you have mobile bases that you can pick up and move around. And if you put a mobile base in one of the zones, it's 5, 10, or 20 points.
Depending on which zone you put
wherever it is. But then there's also stationary goals in like the center of the field. And it's not like last year where the field was separated into two halves. There's no fence or anything this year. Any robot can drive anywhere over the field. Right. But, the Red Alliance has a stationary goal and the Blue Alliance has a stationary goal, and it sits 2 feet off the ground. So your robot has to reach at least, a little over 2 feet so it can get the cone on top of it.
Okay.
So, like I know Jacob's team, Truett, their builder, did a lift, and I think it goes about 4 feet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it goes 4 feet, and ours is, I think, about 3 feet. So, building a big, tall lift is one of the harder things to do, because especially there's size requirements at the beginning of the match when you start.
Correct. Right.
You can't build out of 18 by 18 inches by 18 inches by 18 inches. So, you can't show up with a 7-foot tall robot.
Sure.
Your robot has to expand to be that 7 feet tall. So that adds a whole new element of gearboxes and making sure it lifts and all that. It's complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now this year there's also an expansion limit. Like you can't expand to be too wide, but this year there's no height expansion.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting to get to Worlds and see these people who build like the 2-story tall robots.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's no height expansion. They can expand as high as they want. There's still a area limit.
Yeah.
But I mean, they could go to the roof if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're probably going to see some crazy robots at Worlds.
Yeah. With that, I mean, theoretically, without any physical limits, they can go as high as they want. They can have a robot that lifts 15 feet tall. Or
I guess the question to me,
especially the top heaviness of that, because it has to be the same.
Theoretically, they can
width
have one
and depth is limited.
Now the big question to me though is what other than you can just do it. I mean, that doesn't look like a big advantage.
It just means you can stack.
It just means, I mean, the higher you go, the more off balance you get, but the more cones you could stack.
Yeah.
So there's like you can't go too far up, but you want to be able to go high enough.
I think this year's speed is definitely going to be one of the things.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
Speed and agility to move around.
Yeah.
I think. I haven't seen the game track, but I can imagine the game.
And I know last year's game you had the autonomous time the first so many seconds where it was pre-programmed by the people programming. I'm assuming that'll still play in this next game. There's always an autonomous mode or time or whatever.
It's the same amount of seconds.
Okay.
This year, but this year
it's still 15 seconds. So
yeah, but this year it's 10 points instead of 4. So that's going to be a big. I mean, last year's game 4 points. I mean, that was
wouldn't break you.
Yeah, it wouldn't make or break a game. I mean, that's just one key.
So they're putting a lot more emphasis on the
10 points
autonomy.
in this game.
Yeah,
because I mean, you only get 2 points for stacking a cone.
Okay.
So I mean, 10 points for autonomous. That's a lot bigger than 4. So that could be a make or break.
What exactly would this autonomous be? I mean, what do you have to accomplish, or do you even know yet?
Well, I've been thinking we obviously have to build. Our robot's not completely built yet for this year.
Yeah.
We got to get that sort of built before I can actually program it. But I've been trying to work something out for it. Right now, obviously the zones, that's where you get the big points. You can get 20 points in that zone. I think that's something that if you get in there, it's going to work well, because if I put that in the 20-point zone, that's going to carry over to driver control, because if that stays in the 20-point zone in driver control, we get another 20 points on top of that.
Oh, okay.
So I've been working out some things.
There you go. Well, don't give too much away.
Yeah, don't give it away.
Don't want the girls.
That's right, or any other. Right. I'm just kidding. We're just kidding. They're good sports. Jacob, now you seem like you're knowledgeable about building the robot. You were talking about having to redo the drivetrain. Now I guess I'm going back to these pipes. It looks like to me if you're not careful, you won't be able to traverse these pipes. You're going to have something almost like the Mars rover, where you're going to have to multiple wheels or something, tracks or something that would allow you to go.
That was our problem at first when we were prototyping for this year. We were going to do something that we first had an idea, but we decided that wouldn't work out because of the pipe. It wouldn't be able to go over, so we ended up switching our drivetrain to be more efficient to be able to get over the pipe.
Didn't you guys put rollers in the middle? Y'all have 2 sets of extra wheels?
We have 2 rollers in the middle of our bigger omnidirectional wheels, and what this is going to do is if it does happen to get stuck, it's going to be able to roll off.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, because like I said, I did one of the competitions this past year that was at White Plains, and you see all sorts. I mean, there was only 35 teams there, I think, or somewhere in the neighborhood, but all sorts of different designs. And even though they've got this, I know we talked about this before, but pretty much there is a box, not necessarily a box of parts, but some of the stuff you have to use, right? I mean, you can't just use anything.
Yeah.
There's actually a guide that you kind of have to be within, but you have all these different types of drivetrains, wheel alignments, scissor lifts, all the different things. You're right about one thing. If you're good enough to make it to Worlds, and you're blessed to be picked with the right team, all the moons line up, and you get to Worlds, there's going to be some wild robots this year, likely.
That PVC 1-inch, and this just popped up in my head, but you can expand as high as you want. I think some at Worlds, because it's going to be so off balance when they go over that pipe. That's going to rock.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
That's going to be this game is a lot about speed and agility, like you guys said, but it's also about balance.
Right, absolutely.
And stability.
Yeah. Right.
Because if your bot's really tall to stack cones, it's going to get more off balance, and it's going to get harder to not break it. And it's going to get really wobbly.
Now, when you showed up to Worlds this past year, I imagine that was overwhelming. There was just all those teams. Did you go around and meet a lot of? What was your neatest folks you met?
We did actually. We went around to just meet and talk to people from around the world. I actually met one kid from South Korea who was pretty interesting. That was definitely one of the highlights of Worlds, was being able to meet all of these different people from all these different cultures and stuff like that.
South Korea.
It's amazing.
I saw some pictures of a really good team from New Zealand. I understand they had they seemed like rock stars there. I know a lot of people are taking.
Speaking of stars, CBS actually was there filming and doing some production of the competition, and a couple weeks ago it actually aired on television. Now, if you missed it, which I knew ahead of time, so I recorded and watched it later, but it's actually on YouTube. And I will put a link in the show notes.
There you go.
It's like 40-something minutes, without the commercials. And I will say this. I'll give CBS some kudos they did a really good job covering it. And for the general public, Joe Q public that doesn't know anything about robotics, did a real good job explaining it to the audience. They talked to a lot of the teams. Of course, they didn't talk to White Plains, but they missed out. It's their loss.
Yeah, it sure is.
We got them on Hey Techies. But, talked to a lot of the teams, covered some of the competition. Of course, it's just a small fraction of the actual matches because there's the qualifiers and the round robin and so on and so forth. But anyway, I highly encourage if you got a few minutes, 40 minutes to be exact, watch it. We'll put it in the show notes, heytechieshow.com. It'll be there hopefully by tomorrow. So.
There was probably a lot of media there, I'm sure, at times.
Maybe Hey Techies needs to make an appearance there next year.
Worlds.
Yeah.
Louisville.
Yeah.
Go to the Vull.
Let's go.
Yeah. What was that? You might have already said that. 40 countries.
It's 40 countries. I'm not sure how many actual teams. Y'all know roundabout number?
Not just high school, but
right.
And all in all, there's over 1,400 teams there. But Vex there's Vex spans over. I think they showed a video of it. Like I think the second day. There's Vex spans over 40 countries, and I think they said over 18,000 teams.
I think CBS covered that in their coverage too.
Something about that.
It was something like that, but there's 3 different big groups. There's the Vex IQ, which is the elementary kind of lower grade middle school. Then there's Vex, which is middle school, high school, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then you have Vex U, which is colleges and universities.
So and then you got to remember all these like 1,400 teams at Worlds. You got to remember there's 3 to 4 people on each team, so
you start
and
multiplying.
Then you got parents, and then you got like sponsors who are there, and there's all these booths there as well. I mean, there's a ton of people to meet there. We were there 3-4 days, and we still didn't get to do everything. Yeah. That's another reason why I really want to go again this year, because I want to do some of the stuff I didn't get to do last time.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna try. I think Hey Techies should make that our project for this coming year. Michael's laughing, but we're going. I'm gonna take Michael. I'm gonna kicking and screaming to Louisville.
Drag me on a plane.
Well, we can drive.
Oh yeah,
that ain't that far.
To the Vull.
It's about 6-7 hours.
Yeah. Jacob. Now, I had the question. Now it's gone out of my head. I'm terrible at this. That really happens to me almost every show. Matter of fact, it happened the last time these guys were here. Oh, I can't believe that.
We're in the presence of champions here.
I know.
It's just normal.
And I balk. Just the presence of champions.
I know.
And I balk on it. It's terrible.
Well, let me. While you're thinking, let me ask this question. We talked about this before the show. Is the funding, because it's quite expensive to go to Worlds. It's quite expensive just to do this in general. I mean, school systems don't have just money laying around for this. So, do y'all want to talk a little bit about the fundraising piece, the sponsorship, and all that? I mean, I know your teacher probably have more and more details, but can you kind of give us the audience an overview? Because it's not like it's just, money free flow with like our federal government,
Well, we had to contact a lot of people, basically, asking if they can donate. We hosted one thing at our own high school. Basically, people could pay and get out of class. And
oh wow!
Yeah,
they probably raised a lot of money.
Yeah, it did. And then we did it at the middle school too. So.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. I'm glad the administration was behind that, to give them kind of a pay to get out of class. Wish they did that when I was in school. I'd have figured out how to make the money if it was cutting grass or something.
Speaking of that, how did you actually get interested? I know I've asked these guys the last time they were here. How did you really get interested in wanting to be a part of a robotics team?
Well, I was into computers previously, and it was my freshman year when I heard that we did have a robotics team, and I thought it was pretty interesting, so I applied. I went to Mr. Shaw's classroom, got an application, and been in since.
Okay.
And what grade are you about to go into this year?
I'm about to be a senior.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome, since the 9th grade. That's awesome.
Okay. So what plan you got for
my future?
For after high school? Yeah.
Well, I'd like to go to this college, Jacksonville State.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. We'll be glad to take you.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Any ideas what you want to study, or are you still kind of
computer science?
Awesome.
Yeah.
We have a great computer science program here.
Yeah, they even produce Guru.
Yeah, they produce people like Guru and Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, All right. Well, when we come back from break, we'll or a really short break.
Yeah,
this one's a little bit longer by a few seconds.
10 seconds longer.
There we go. We'll move on to something else here. I'm not sure what I'll ask them if I don't forget the question. Hey, Techie Show. Be right back.
Don't go anywhere. There's more in the queue lined up just for you.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladica Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
You're listening to the Hey Techies Show on WLJS Jacksonville.
I don't think Michael likes our bumper music. Welcome back to the Hey Techie Show. He's speechless right now.
I don't dislike it. It's just this doesn't have much intro to talk over it. You have to talk over.
I know, and I actually thought about that when I was picking. I was like, Michael's not going to like this because there's not enough music.
Yeah, well, it's fine. It's fine. So. Well, we are now joined with Tucker, Noah, and Jacob, and the White Plains Robotics team. Now they're not all on the same team, but they have competed against each other and competed at different robotics. Vex, Worlds, State, Local, all those things, and have won at different ones. Now, I want to ask you guys something. I don't know about if you know this, but I'm sure you've read, heard about that. There are a lot of articles written, and it's been for many years now, about what robotics' role is in society. There's a whole thing now with whether they're taking jobs away from people, like. For instance, at your manufacturing, a lot of manufacturing is going to robotics. Not only that, there are some actual companies that are making robotic hamburger flippers, that build so many hamburgers in a few minutes. What's your opinion on that? Do you think that people should be concerned about robotics taking jobs at the low end jobs maybe, or even something like that?
Think about it like this: for every robot, there's got to be someone to tell that robot what to do,
right? To
build that robot, and then keep it working and everything. Because with every robot, it's like a computer; it's not gonna work 100% perfect all the time. So I could see it taking away some jobs, but you still have to have people to run it. You could say computers are taking away jobs, but you got people to run computers and know how to work them and fix it and build it.
Yeah. I think it's a good intro to. It gets people interested in engineering. I think that's sort of its role, like you said. It's like it's basically like on the high school level, you can go into it and figure out if this is something you'd want to do. And as far as the jobs, it like he said, it probably does take away a little bit. But so have computers, like. Self-checkouts do the same thing. Well, it's just we're like evolving technology. I think there's going to be some things like it's just a change, I guess.
Right. And there's no question it is that. It's definitely that. But where do you see, with what you've been learning, where do you see robots maybe being able to move forward and do some of these jobs? Can you see some places it could advance? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but if have you seen anything that a robot could probably do that?
All right, I actually went down to there's some place in Mumford. They cut metal. I think they're like a laser cutting metal place. They use robotics, and they use robots to do all the metal and the laser cutting and all that. And then I think car manufacturing. Every single car manufacturing plant has robots doing something or another. And I mean, I can see how like NASA is using them, to send them where humans can't go. Because with the human, you gotta send like food and water and stuff to keep it alive.
Usually you're gonna want that.
Yeah, something to keep it going. But robot, you just send it up there, you just pop it up there.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the online challenge Vex does is to build a robot that's for something like not to play a game, but to help out with some stuff that could help out, maybe like an elderly person or a disabled person. Last year, I think the person who won, the robot, you would put a bottle into it and crush it. And so now you have a crushed bottle and you just recycle it.
Right.
So, I mean, they have that program going.
So that's separate from what you all competed in.
It's
correct?
an online challenge, so it's sort of in the same. It's Vex.
Yeah.
So, and if you win the online challenge, come in first place, you get to go to Worlds.
Okay.
And they actually basically pay for your trip. It's not fully depending on where you are, but like
they pay for your ticket to go to Worlds.
So that would be basically in recycling industry is what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
It's not exactly like you can build it for something to help out.
Yeah, I get it.
It's more like to solve a real world problem.
Yeah, I think the actual like question for the online challenge, because each online challenge is. Vex just puts up like a question or a challenge, and then you submit your entry, and the entry the question was just build a robot that can help in society. Yeah, that's about all it was.
It's very very open ended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you saw a bunch of different. I mean, you can go in and look at the entries because that's how you submit it. And you can go in and look at all the different things people have come up with to help.
Oh,
I mean, there's a ton of them. There's probably over.
Yeah, I think I remember
robots.
One that I saw was you had a robot and it like sat on top of or like in between like two trash cans, like two bins, and you put a can or a bottle in there and you use like a color sensor to tell if it needed to be recycled or thrown away. And you just put it in the robot and then it just shot it into either trash can. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's very interesting. I didn't even realize that was part of it, or something you could do in addition to or separate from. That's pretty cool.
And we were thinking about doing an online challenge, but I think like Christmas break came into way and us working on our actual robot. Because you gotta do your actual robot first and get the state and all that, and then you can do the online challenge.
Okay, so once you're at the state level, you can choose.
Well, I mean, that's what we were worrying about.
Yeah. Oh, y'all were worried about state. Okay,
you
gotcha.
can, but the deadline for the online challenges are usually around Christmas.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of ones. They're usually not related to like the actual game.
Yeah.
Like there's this one that you can design a game for Vex, and they give you sort of some like specifics that you have to do.
Right.
And I mean, these people like design full games for Vex with rules, regulations, everything.
Oh wow!
So I mean, it's cool, and you can look at all these entries too. So like you can see all the different games people have come up with. There's like a photography challenge as well. There's all kinds of different online challenges. I think that's something we're gonna try to do this year.
Yeah,
because it's very interesting. So
the team that won the come up with the new game, like come up with another game, the team that won that online challenge, I mean their video looked professional. I mean, it looked like Vex did it.
It looked exactly like they played their video in there to show like who won, and then later that day I think they played the actual video, and there was barely any difference except the game itself. So
okay.
Yeah, you're at a point now with technology at the consumer level, what you have access to. It's amazing what you can do.
Yeah,
I mean, look at these YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing what they're producing now. Except our little poor quality webcam back here.
Right.
We're going to fix that.
Speaking of that, a friend of mine told me they had an idea of doing a podcast where they were commentating videos, like a movie.
Oh, okay.
You would just talk.
They talk
so
over
they would watch it, but they would record what they were saying. So later on, someone else could play the podcast back while watching a movie.
Oh, well, that's a neat idea.
Well, the problem is a lot of people apparently are already doing it. They found out there was already people actually doing that.
Like tech podcast. I mean, there's
sure, right. No one's doing that, right? That
it's really not. We're the first ones,
right? Sure, like CNN's the first to get it wrong. We were the first ones with that, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, so things like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could be robotic radio host.
I don't know about that.
It'd be like Siri, just program to say something.
That's true. Siri, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that particular thing, that would be more like machine learning or AI learning, and you have an autonomous mode. But let's step back for just a few minutes, and I want to talk about power. Is there been any changes? Do you still have to work with the same power plant? Can you have more? Did they cut you back on that? Same.
No, sir. It's pretty much the same, but we're improving on that because last year I don't think we really took advantage of what we're allowed to do because you're allowed to have 2 batteries on your robot, and you're allowed a power expander, which helps because the Cortex you have is only supposed to have like 5 wires in it to run like smoothly, and you can put 10 wires and motors in it, but it makes the power, like, I don't know how to explain it, like the power a little bit like rougher on the robot.
You're drawing more amps off the battery, so it doesn't perform as well.
If you have a power expander, you can plug in a separate battery, so you have 2 batteries and 5 motors on one, the power expander, and 5 motors on the Cortex.
Okay.
So it's 2 separate batteries. So we're doing that this year, and I don't know about Team B, but
yeah.
This year, we're probably going to be with, just how much stuff we're going to have on our robot. I think we were talking about having 2 batteries and a power expander.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I was curious.
So tell me about this autonomous mode and the programming in general. I don't think we really touched on that a whole lot last time. So is there some sort of, I'm assuming there's some sort of proprietary language you have to write it in and kind of, without getting too technical?
Most people either use EasyC or a Robot C. We started out with Robot C like our first year and the beginning of our previous year, and then we ended up switching to EasyC.
Okay.
Because Robot C had a lot of problems with multitasking because there were probably ways to do what we wanted. We just couldn't really find out how to do it.
Right.
So just to make, things better for us to focus on driving and winning, we switched to EasyC.
Yeah, so like last year, like when we were programming Robot C and we had our forklift, like we could back up and then dump, but we couldn't back up and dump at the same time, so we couldn't get momentum, which that's a big deal because instead of, if we had to go up and just dump like that, we're getting all near zone. But if we got momentum, we got all far zone.
Right.
So it's really important, and then we switched to EasyC, so we actually know both languages, but Robot C is a little complicated.
So is it object-oriented language with EasyC?
Robot C and EasyC, I don't think
they're not
object-oriented.
Okay, I know it's kind of pegging the geek meter there. I apologize to our listeners.
Well, maybe the listeners don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you'll have to explain.
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't. When object-oriented wasn't the end thing when I was in school. It was starting to become the end thing, so I'm not as well versed as probably these youngsters are, unfortunately.
Rock, stone, and tablets
were
the end thing when I was in school.
Oh, maybe with you.
Yeah.
We actually had computers.
Yeah, we did.
Believe it or not.
We actually did. We had Apple IIe's or something at one time. Long time ago.
Back in the old days.
Yeah, you had to have floppies. They didn't even have hard drives. You had to flip the floppies. Yeah. That's old school, man. I can't come back from, pioneer days.
Pioneer days.
Like inventing the internet and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's put our war stories away for right now.
No. Why not? I don't want them to get bored.
Poor
Jacob over here is yawning. He's had a long day, apparently. He's poor guy putting him to sleep over here.
So this is not robotics related, but ask y'all, Apple or Android?
Well, that's a hard question.
Security-wise, I'm definitely a fan of Apple.
Yes.
But Android definitely has a lot more capabilities to fidget. And, from what I know, I'm not quite sure.
Like him, I agree. Apple, a lot more secure. You're not going to get a virus on there. And it's a lot smoother. Like, it runs a lot better, in my opinion.
Okay.
The Android, it's a lot more customizable, is what I'd say. Like, if you have an Android phone, you're going to be able to, mess with it.
That's true, yeah. It's Apple's way of the highway. So I think we got some new codes for Hey Techies right here. We'll just leave and let them handle the rest of the show.
Okay, all right. That sounds good.
Well, what do you personally use, Apple or Android?
Might get calls that way.
I personally use Apple.
I use Apple as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I use Apple too.
Yeah, you outnumbered, Michael.
I just use what works. My phone works.
Hey, if you use Apple, it'll work better.
Now, I have an HP laptop, but don't get me wrong. If I get an Apple, I'd definitely get it. It runs super slow.
Yeah, but you got to pay out the bucks.
Yeah,
that's why I said
they don't
if.
give anything
that's
away.
why I said if I could get an Apple.
Yeah, right. I know it's pricey.
It runs all right for what I use it for. I just use it for like games occasionally, and then I'm doing history over the summer this year. Go ahead and getting a credit advancement.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, but it just still runs really slow. I have no idea why it runs that slow, but just one of those
You need
things.
to call in the Hey Techies. Maybe we can help you.
Yeah.
All right, Noah, what are you wanting to do after school? How much long is this year? What year are you?
I'm going into my junior year.
Oh, okay, so you got a little while.
Yeah, they're both a year older than me, but I know I want to go into robotics engineering, so I know what I want to do. I want to get a robotics engineering degree and then MBA.
Okay, that's good.
That's good.
But where is still undetermined.
Understood.
I've been thinking about doing my basics at JSU because I've asked. I know Mr. Shaw was the first one to tell me about it, but I've asked around a little bit, and JSU actually does a scholarship for students in their senior year. If you have a 24 or higher on your ACT and you're signed on with Vex Robotics, you can get 2 years free.
Well, there you go.
JSU.
There you go.
Really?
So I'm thinking about doing my basics there, getting those for free, and then I don't know, maybe going somewhere else, maybe staying.
Yeah, they have an applied engineering program here, which is it's a good program. I'm very proud of our university and their
I think that's
STEM
what
areas.
I'm probably looking into right now, applied engineering.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Tucker. Yeah.
Yeah, I think after this, I probably will do my basics and go into applied engineering here. If all goes, hopefully I can get that VEX scholarship as well. But that's the plan right now. So.
Well, he'll be a year ahead of you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Less competition.
I think I got to compete with him, though.
Well,
yeah, well.
Hey, that's the way it goes.
Well, healthy competition's always good.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how they do it. I know it exists. That's about all I know about it.
You still got time. You're just becoming a junior. You still got time to think about that.
I'm still a kid.
But it's always good to be plan ahead. Yeah. Especially this time in your life. Enjoy the moment, but always be able to take time to look ahead, plan things out. So that is good.
But one I've started thinking about is I know South Alabama has a good engineering program. UAH has a good engineering program. Think about Auburn. I know they have a real good engineering program.
Yep.
Now I've been hearing that Georgia has a pretty good engineering program, so I'm kind of looking over there
I know
too.
Georgia Tech has a lot of engineering type programs. I'm not sure about University of Georgia. I'm not too familiar with what they offer.
I'm not too familiar on it, but I just know that Georgia Tech's also really expensive.
Yes,
and it's out of state. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that residency kind of gets you there too.
So if we have any students that are not in robotics listening, what would you say? What would you say is some of the reasons to join a robotics team like this? And if they don't have it at their school, they need to try to do what? Convince somebody to start one?
It really helps you, especially if you're thinking about STEM, anything STEM related.
Right.
Because, I mean, when I was going into this, I was unsure what I was going to do, like what I wanted to go into. And I was like a junior when I started. So, like, I mean, I don't want to rush myself, but I kind of needed to get a grasp on what I wanted to, what job I wanted to pursue.
Yeah.
So when I did this, I kind of figured out, hey, I definitely want to do something STEM because I really enjoy this. So now I'm either applied engineering or robotics engineering. Those are the two I'm leaning towards. So right now I'm applied engineering, but robotics engineering is also something that I've looked at. So
I'd say it's definitely one of those things. It's like a club or something that at the very least you can get out of it. You can understand if you want to go into something that has, like computer programming, because that's a part of what we do.
Yeah.
Mechanical engineering, building, that's a part of what we do. It helps you get a grasp on what you want to do. Because I knew I wanted to, before I joined robotics, I knew I wanted to do something engineering. I just didn't know what. And then I joined robotics, and I figured out that I wanted to do robotics.
All right.
Okay. What about Jacob? What would
you
say?
What you want to do, Jacob?
Well, no, but what would you say to someone who's thinking about going in? What would be the advantages?
If you're thinking about it, if you are into STEM or interested in any field like that, it's definitely, I would definitely highly recommend it, because not only does it teach you the basics and fundamentals of, science, technology, stuff like that, But, another thing it teaches is also teamwork. So even if you're not interested in STEM, it definitely teaches you to work better with people and to basically, do things together.
Now, it's something we didn't talk about. We got a few minutes here we'll touch, but the workbook.
The notebook.
The notebook. Thank you. Sorry, workbook. Ooh, I've been at work too long. The notebook. Do you have something to do with that? How much do you add to that?
Yes, sir. The previous year, I was the one who took care of everything in the notebook.
Okay.
And that's basically logging everything, taking in pictures, putting in designs, talking about competitions, and Tucker also does the notebook as well for his team.
Okay. And as I said the last time I think we had you on, some are very good and some not much there. I think part of it, from what I'm gathering, is if you do it as you go along, you're going to be better. It's going to be better. It's going to look better, be more successful at it, I guess. How well did y'all do with that at Vex Worlds?
Well,
or do you know? I don't know. You don't really get feedback like that, I guess.
We didn't get back our results, but our notebook was fairly mediocre. That was partially. I mean, nothing was special about our notebook, but it just was documentation, basically what we needed, and yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Nothing, just mediocre, right?
No, you don't want to shoot for mediocre.
You're a lot more mediocre, in my opinion.
No, I know. I wasn't finished with my statement. Sometimes the show, certain hours, is just mediocre. It just depends on what's going on.
Not this hour, for sure.
No, not this hour.
Yeah, some hours, yes.
Some hours.
Especially 2 hours last week.
Oh, please. Y'all did a fabulous job last week. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, I know we got about 90 seconds or so. So, is there a class at White Plains that you take if you're on the robotics team, like a robotics class? It kind of is like your science, or is it an elective?
It's basically an elective.
Okay.
It's our 7th period.
Okay. So instead of taking study hall or basket weaving or something like that, you do robotics.
So all of you actually have this same class at the same time, correct? So you got different teams, over in this one room trying to work on.
It gets chaotic sometimes.
Oh, wow. So every day you get to meet for robotics.
Every day.
So you actually need to hire some security to look at the others and just stand and say, okay, stay away. Don't take our ideas.
I mean, we're really not like that. We kind of bounce ideas on.
Yeah, I figured that. It's like one of those NASCAR teams, right? They work until it's the race, and then
we try to help each other as much as we can without affecting ourselves.
Oh no, I just being facetious. Yeah, I know, but I didn't think about that. I think I didn't realize that the last time we talked about this. They all have the same class, and so it's okay.
So if anybody in the public wants to keep a following of what you're doing, you have a website, Facebook, Twitter.
We have a Twitter.
Okay, so what's that Twitter handle?
I think it's capital WP and robotics.
Okay.
At WP_robotics.
Yeah, we'll figure out the exact link. We'll put in the show notes.
WP_robotics. That's correct. Yeah. I remember that now. At WP.
So everybody go out there and follow them so you can see what's going on. And what's the timeline for next year? When's the competitions? Y'all know those dates yet? Or?
I think our first tournament is going to be Bots at the Beach down. So we get to go to the beach again.
Oh, we need to go to that.
That's gonna be in October. So
there you go. Yeah. October. Bots at the beach.
Bots at the beach.
Make plans.
Well, thank y'all so much for joining us,
guys.
Thank you.
So informative. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
And welcome, Jacob. It was nice to meet you. Hey, Techie Show, our dose coming up.
You've listened this long, so stick around for our dose.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. The Trump administration is expecting business as usual at border crossings as the president's travel ban on visitors from 6 mostly Muslim nations takes effect this evening. Here's NPR's Michelle Kellerman.
U.S. government officials say this time they expect things to run smoothly at ports of entry. If travelers have a valid visa, they will get in, unless border guards have other security concerns about them. Going forward, though, citizens of the 6 countries on the travel ban will have to prove a business or family connection to the U.S., and only close relatives count, not grandparents or grandchildren. There are also big changes for refugees. Those who have made travel arrangements to arrive by July 6 will be let in, but the Trump administration is limiting the number of refugee admissions this fiscal year to 50,000, and they're close to that already. Michelle Kellerman, NPR News, the State Department.
While thousands remain out of their homes due to a fast-moving wildfire in the Prescott National Forest in Arizona, some 70 miles north of Phoenix, firefighters battling the flames apparently got a bit of a break today. About 1,400 people in the town of Mayer were allowed to return home. Stina Sieg with member station KJZZ says the fire has slowed in growth and intensity.
Well, one of the things that really changed was that the wind died down. And they've been having these really windy weather and these really hot temperatures in the 90s to upper 90s. And the wind calmed down yesterday and allowed them to make more headway in their firefighting efforts than they had been in all the previous days. And so the fire still grew, but it grew so much less than it had in the previous days.
Reporter Stina Sieg, the fire has destroyed some homes and 10 communities remain evacuated there. The blaze at last word was about 25% contained. Blatantly sexist, that's how some critics are describing a Twitter message from President Trump today. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi saying the president's remarks about a female TV anchor saddens me because it is so beneath the dignity of the president of the United States. Representative Brenda Lawrence of Michigan also called on Trump to stop attacking a significant part of the population.
I am sick and tired of the disrespect that is constantly being displayed from our President of the United States of America.
The president in a series of tweets attacking the brains, looks, and temperament of MSNBC anchor Mika Brzezinski. Trump also ran into criticism during the campaign when he suggested Hillary Clinton lacked the stamina and did not have the look to be president. More people were signing up for first-time jobless benefits last week. The government announced initial jobless claims were up by 2,000 to a seasonally adjusted 244,000. Applications for unemployment benefits are often looked at by economists as a proxy for broader layoffs. On Wall Street today, the Dow dropped 167 points. The Nasdaq was down 90 points. You're listening to NPR.
Technologic.
Fix it, crash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip and zip it.
Welcome back into the Hey Techie Show, our
dose.
Oh, that's Bruce's voice. Bruce is in the house.
Bruce is here.
Bruce is in the house.
Glad to be here. Glad everybody's back. I feel like
know.
we have not all been together.
No, it has felt
in
that way.
A long time.
Yeah.
I know.
Long time.
It's been a long time. And we kept the show together for last week.
We kept it together
we tried.
last week.
Whatever. It was a good show.
I haven't listened to it.
Well, of course you did the show.
I did.
It was a good show.
I did share the cold open with some of my coworkers. And they're like, man, that Bruce.
Yeah.
That took a long time to prep.
I really
Just kidding.
I really chuckled when I was editing the show. When I first heard it, I said, "Oh, this will be good." It did not disappoint. I can tell you that.
No.
Well, I was actually the other day. I had a coworker bring it up. I was putting a bunch of podcasts on her phone, and she was like, "Why didn't you put your podcast on there?"
Why didn't you?
I totally forgot I had one.
Oh,
goodness!
It's not one that I listen to.
He's afraid of what it might actually say.
Yeah.
Well, I actually have it on my device, but I confession here, I download it, then I say I'll listen to it because I did listen to it because I was here during it, but I do download it.
I know.
I will say I have my podcast almost down to the minute on how many I can listen to. I added a new one recently.
Uh-oh.
But it only so far there was only 8 in the series, and they're about 15 minutes apiece. And I knocked them out in a day. They were so good. Cannot recommend it on air because it's not. One, I would say it's not necessarily safe for work or safe for children.
Oh,
but it is hilarious.
Oh,
so it's called
see.
Something True. I will tell you it. I mean,
something true.
Something true.
So
before we leave, I'll let us listen, not on the radio, but listen to their episode 0, the introduction, and you kind of get a feel of.
We should have done that episode 0. We're like tech nerds, and we didn't even start with 0.
I suggested it.
Well, I didn't. Producer didn't get the memo.
When did you suggest that?
From the get-go.
Before episode 1.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Episode.
In fact,
0.
didn't we joke about doing prequels?
Yeah, they might actually be better.
So, Michael, do you listen to any podcasts?
Actually, no. Yes, I do.
You do?
I do listen to some.
You want to tell us a couple you listen to?
Oh, man.
Not saying you endorse them or not.
Oh, well, I don't have a problem endorsing. I only listen to one other than Ours because I listen to Ours for quality control.
I'm glad somebody
I probably need to listen to Ours for quality control purposes.
I listen to the Rush Limbaugh show.
Okay.
And I have his podcast.
I don't have that.
Well, I know.
I'm scanning.
It isn't free. You pay for it.
Well, I'm just scanning through mine, and I don't mind sharing a couple I've got on here. One I don't listen to quite often is the Social Media Church podcast. I guess I should more.
Social Media Church podcast. Now, did they cover social media of the church or
social media and related to the ministry?
Really, and that is something they can talk about every week.
Seems like.
Well, it's usually there's
last week today.
Well, no, it's not every week. It's not as.
I'm not
regular,
making fun of it. I'm trying to learn.
It's not a regular release. It's infrequent.
I would hope so.
And then
I'm not judging it because that would be it has to do with church
and
I know. Social, so I'm not judging it.
I know, but also I listen to cruise radio.
Well,
shocker.
Now that would be informative actually. I mean, if you go on a lot of cruises, you could find some.
Oh, gotcha. I was like cruise,
and of course,
cruise ship.
I can guess the airline shows. That you
airline pilot guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's 2 new ones I've picked up on. Podcasting on a Plane. It's done by an air traffic controller.
Yeah.
That's also a pilot. And one called Inside the Airlines, which is very new. It's only done 2 episodes, I think. And one other one, this one I can highly recommend, and I'm behind. I've got 2 episodes I haven't listened to. It's called No Dumb Questions.
Ooh, that might be
It's done by a gentleman. One of the co-hosts on the show is actually from Alabama. He lives in the Tennessee Valley.
Okay.
He works with NASA.
No Dumb Questions.
He's an engineer, and he also is the person that does the YouTube channel Smarter Every Day.
Okay.
Smarter Every Day.
Yeah.
Well, I will have to check that one out.
Yeah, No Dumb Questions.
How often does that one come on?
It's about bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly?
Yeah.
Well, since he shared all his, I was going to
share mine.
Yeah. I've been wanting to do this for several weeks. It's like for us just to kind of share.
Well, and plus 2, after I get
it's just like the book club. What books do you read?
Well, yeah. If you have a suggestion, 256-782-5600.
Yeah.
Would love to hear what you listen to.
Absolutely.
So here are mine, and I'll start with the ones that come out daily. So the SANS Internet Storm Center Stormcast, Daily Tech Headlines, the CyberWire. Those are all the daily ones.
This Week in Tech History. Is there one that?
Is there one?
I don't know.
I almost played the crickets, but I can't.
No, don't do that.
This is a long list.
Serious business.
Get your notes. Get your paper ready.
Then multiple times a week comes stuff you should know. Then once a week is Defensive Security Podcast, Steve Gibson's Security Now, and Recorded Future. And then just whenever he feels like getting it out, which these I highly recommend, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History and Dan Carlin's Common Sense. And then the one that I have recently started listening to that I just recommended, there's only 8 episodes. And hopefully they're going to come out with more. So I don't know when these come out, but I listened to almost all 8 of them in one sitting. Something True. So
something true.
Not all of mine are tech related, or security related.
Are they vary in time format? I guess.
Oh yes.
Okay.
So
you don't have to go through the whole list.
We are. You asked. The Sands one, and a lot of these I listen to at 1.5 times speed. Like all the.
Let me guess. All the Steve stuff.
All the Steve stuff. Actually, I had it on 2.5 times.
No, it is not. Actually, it would be normal speed.
So the Sands one, I actually listen at normal speed. Defensive Security Podcast 1.5. Daily Tech Headlines 1.5. Security Now.
That made my head hurt. Listen, all of it.
1.5. Well, Security Now 2 to 2.5 because it's a 2-hour long. The Sands is like 5 to 10 minutes every morning. Defensive Security Podcast is an hour. Daily Tech Headlines is probably like 8 to 10 minutes. Security Now is 2 hours. Stuff You Should Know is about an hour. Listen to it at normal speed.
Oh.
Dan Carlin's Hardcore History varies greatly. It could be an hour with multiple in the series to 4 to 6 hours.
Ooh, okay. 4 to 6.
Listen to that one at normal
if
speed.
You've got, airline pilot guy, he usually averages 3 hours.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is a long.
And
how often do those come on?
Weekly.
Wow.
They talk about airplanes, man.
Airline. I'm going to have to check one of those out.
It's very good. I highly recommend it.
The Cyberwire, about 15 minutes, 1.5 times speed. Recorded Future, same thing, 15 minutes, 1.5 times speed. Common Sense, usually about an hour, normal speed. Something True, about 15, 20 minutes, normal speed.
Okay.
And the reason why the ones I listen to on normal speed, because a lot of those are storytelling, and they are done. They're very, very high quality. Not to take anything away from the tech things, but those are, I need that information.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And I got to move on to the next thing. Whereas so those are more, I guess, work related, educational, where the other ones are entertainment. No.
Do you? I assume you listen to a lot of this in the car.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say most of it
on the drive.
On the drive.
On the drive.
And especially if I have to travel somewhere.
Sure.
It comes in great. Listen to 1984 while I drove. Because I was all out of podcasts.
So like, what else can I listen to? Oh, this.
I was having to drive a long way, so.
Yeah, there's something called radio stations.
Yeah, but when you're in a rental car, you don't. And that is, let's talk about that real quick.
Here we go.
I have Sirius XM. You have Sirius XM.
Yes, I do.
You do not.
No.
I feel like that is something. Now I think you can call and pay for it whenever you're renting the car. It's like, I don't know how much extra, but you can have it just for while you're renting the car. But dang it, I'm not in my car. I should be able to enter a code in or something.
Oh, I see.
And take that with me,
like your presets and
yeah. I don't even care about the presets. I'll know
just
what
your subscription.
Just my subscription. Take my subscription with me. Now they'll say, well, you can pay for this tier and you can have it on your phone and you can stream it wherever you go. Absolutely not. I'm not using my data. If you can do that and then not charge me, and then everywhere I go, I may not be able to do that.
And you bring that up, and here's the thing. I was talking to somebody.
He just did bring it up, yes.
No, a couple months ago. I was trying to think how long it'd been, but it's a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of cars, they're not putting the satellite radios in them. It's not an option unless you. I guess it's not like certain trim levels of vehicles, you can get that as part of the audio package, if you get to a certain level. But it's harder and harder to get in a
baseline.
It's harder and harder to get than it used to be because people are streaming more.
I was going to say,
because I asked this is a person that sells cars for a living. I said, what's the deal with that? Because I like satellite radio as an option.
Yes.
When you're buying a brand new car, you can, if you don't want it, don't turn it on.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll give you a month, 2 free to try it. But he said, yeah, people are just wanting to stream their stuff now. I'm like, I just don't want to pay for the extra data.
I know. I don't think.
Don't. I mean, you can call me frugal if you want to, but I mean,
I think what do they normally charge? $15 a month or $10 a month is what Sirius XM
it's like
is?
15.
Yeah,
and I'm seriously debating, and maybe they're listening and they'll give me a deal.
Oh yeah, they
I paid for 6 months, and that's coming up in August. It's due again, so I'm seriously considering canceling it.
Oh, anytime you do, they'll offer you.
I know
that cheaper rate, and if you can just do that all the time,
I don't listen to it a whole lot.
I'd be fine with that.
I don't listen to it a whole bunch.
Oh man, Anytime I'm not listening to podcasts, I have satellite
So, do
on.
you think that your subscription is per device, or how does that work?
It is per device.
It's per device.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
then I don't think they're going to do what you're
because
wanting them to do.
say if I had that, say if I sold that car,
yeah,
and I had already prepaid a year
Right.
worth on that. If I didn't call and cancel that next person would have it.
Yeah.
And if I had it auto renew, that person would keep having it.
Well, that wouldn't happen with you. That wouldn't happen. Well, when we
hope
come
not.
back,
We'll
we're going to
talk
move on to some stories and to something I want to talk about a few minutes here that I
Just a few.
Yeah.
teased at the first of the.
Yeah, I got something I want
the
to talk about too, but I'll let you talk first because you're the
show.
you're the chief
that's
techie.
so kind. Hey, Techie Show. Be right back.
No representation is made that the opinions of hosts here are better than those of the average tech show, but we think so.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladica Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Welcome into the Hey Techie Show. Hey, pot me up, just not right there, just a tick. Okay, I noticed the level.
Yeah.
Did the level got adjusted a little?
That's
too much.
okay.
All right, Guru.
All right. Well, I'll let you have the floor first. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you said you had to cut out.
Oh no, I want to wait. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness, there's not going to be a long break. You do realize that?
I know
right?
that.
Okay.
But I want to
Long
hear. I
story-
want to hear this.
Okay, so
Michael, you have the floor.
So Bruce has got to listen.
I'm listening.
Okay.
Sorry, I was also reading.
No,
He's
it's
passively
fine.
listening.
I'm going to try to make this painless because I do want to get rumors in. Because let's see. Did we have a bunch of rumors? I don't see anything.
We got a bunch. We got a bunch of other news. So
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's enough of that. That's
Yeah.
why I'm wasting time. Here lately, I've had a real bugaboo because I've got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm tired of people falling for fishing attempts, and I'm talking about catching a bass out on the ocean. I mean, you can catch an ocean bass. I meant the local lake. But what I'm talking about,
you need help fishing? I know somebody can help you fish.
PH.
I'm just kidding.
Fishing. The PH kind where you fall for an attempt to get your credentials through something that you think is legit in an email. And why are you smiling, Bruce? What have I said
nothing.
already that's
No,
humorous?
it's all stuff in my own mind. Jokes I'm saying.
Watch
in my
me.
head.
Don't look at
Oh,
Bruce.
he doesn't bother me. I mean,
he's distracting you.
He's not distracting me.
Yeah,
I'm
But-
distracting myself.
But I got to be honest with you. I've had time to calm down.
Yeah.
And here's the reason.
Oh, you should have seen him at lunch today.
Here's
He was
the reason
riled
I'm frustrated.
up.
Here's the reason I'm frustrated. I feel like that I don't know what more we can do as IT people to instruct. I don't know what more we can say. I mean, I feel like the next thing is we're going to have some kind of Spanish translator to translate what I'm saying into other language because clearly English is not working.
You know I don't speak Spanish.
Well-
in English, please.
But apparently English isn't working. So it would be nice if we could get somebody that speaks another language. I'll take any of them because the other ones must be what
Maybe they can get
Maybe
through.
they can get through. If you'll call the Hey Techie Show 256-782-5600 and you can translate what I'm saying in whatever language you want to attempt. Now it's got to be clean. But I'm dead serious about this. It's frustrating. I feel like a lot of times you talk to people, it just seems like you say nothing. It's like what comes out of your
They
mouth
just smile and nod.
stops. Yeah, smile and nod. And I really don't get it. And I know I had somebody tell me, well, you're an IT professional.
Yeah.
You can look at these things and you can say, well, that's not legit. But see, this friend of mine's point was some of this stuff is so close to what a company sends out that looks legit,
yeah,
we're sort of training people to look and say, oh, that looks legit. Instead of this, I told him, I said, well, really, I think everybody should look at email as it's not legit. That's the first thing you should think about email. It's probably not legit, especially if it uses the terms like this is really important or click here.
Yeah,
those are
act
not.
Now.
Yeah, act now.
You're going to jail.
Supplies are limited.
You have a ticket that you
must,
need to look
You must
into.
click this in the next 5 seconds.
So let's slow down for a second.
Well, I'm sorry.
And get to what something you said about people like why is that communication not happening? Do you think possibly it is because as IT professionals, people see us as arrogant? Even though we're not trying to be, we're trying to be helpful, and they just see it as like, I did something stupid. I already look at you as being the smarter one, even though we're not.
See, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's a stigma that's not fair that we face, but we face it. So, and also, even if they're like, well, no, I'm smarter, and this is where I asked this to someone today, and this does sound arrogant, even though it is the truth. And I can't remember exactly what I typed, but it was something along of, how do you explain something to someone when they think they already have all the answers?
Yes, I can see that. I don't think that's totally true in this case, but I do see exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
Totally what you're saying. However, I will say this. I feel like that may be a barrier that we don't quite grasp how to get across that barrier of we are looking.
I'm just as dumb as you.
Yeah, well, but now see, I hate those terms smart and dumb because that's not what this is about.
Okay.
I really hate those terms, and the reason I'm saying that is because this is about not being educated on what to look for.
Ignorant.
And sometimes ignorant and sometimes educated, but it's almost like lately it's a moth to a flame. I've got to click it. I've got to do it. I've got to see what's on the other side of that rainbow.
Possibly it could be muscle memory.
Muscle memory.
Muscle memory.
Okay, now we're really
click everything.
Well, for instance, we can break this down. For instance, you get a message, and I'm not going to take a long time on this, but look, I just want to make this.
You spend as much time as you want.
Short and sweet here. You get a message, you don't know who it's from. Let's go from this aspect. You don't know who the sender is, rather. Okay?
Or you assume.
You assume you don't know who the sender is.
Well, I'm saying you assume it's from some. If any point if you don't know that it's from that person, you either had to assume it's from somebody, or you don't know who it's from.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying it's not from your contacts or somebody that you get email. You know that.
Sure.
But here's the thing: is sometimes it can look like it's from somebody you know.
I understand. We're getting to
it's
that.
Like okay. Well, go ahead.
I'm just talking about the aspect of that you. But most of the time, when all your email providers, most of the ones, and even email clients, you can look into, see exactly the address that it left from. Now, some of that can be spoofed.
Yeah.
But a lot of them will tell you. So, for in this instance, if you work at X company, company.com is your company.
Yeah.
But you're getting email from Alice, from somebody at alice.it, okay?
Yeah.
That's not your company.
Yeah.
Nobody
but it says
from
company.com. But it says IT at the end. It's got to be legit.
Well, I don't even think they see that. And that's I think the problem is.
I do. That's what I'm saying.
Even in a normal email, if you were to send somebody an email detailing something, they're going to read like the first 2 sentences, and then whatever else was after that, they didn't read. Except,
yeah, correct.
Click here.
Correct. Yeah, click here.
Yeah.
But my point is, I mean, I just would like to educate that there are a lot of steps you can do first. You need to definitely think of the email as not legit first.
Yes.
That's the way I view it.
Yep.
I look at all emails, that's not legit. I know that's sort of weird, and you might say that's tin hat-ish. Okay, fine. I have my tin hat on that point. But I also don't fall for phishing attempts.
Yeah. Can I offer a better analogy?
Yeah, you probably have a lot better one.
Well, it's very simple because most of the things that are done just in technology, are modeled after something in the real world.
Yes.
And email is one of those.
Yes.
It is emailed almost exactly like regular mail. Whenever you get regular mail, you have certain items that you expect.
Right.
And you open those items.
Right.
Then you have items that come that you immediately know this is an advertisement, trash.
Right, correct.
And then you have the ones that are kind of sneaky. That's like some insurance company.
Yes.
They've not put something on there, and you're just kind of like, huh, what is this?
Or it says it's from a bank.
Yeah, or it says it's from a bank.
Or from somebody I do business with, Amazon, name your retailer here.
I get all that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's say it's one of those, urgent mail, open now.
Correct, right.
And then you open it, and it's like, basically reply to this for $10,000 worth of
Sure,
life
right,
insurance.
exactly, right.
And what do you do with that? Do you reply?
No.
Absolutely not. So why in the heck
I know
would you do it? Now, if you are a person that replies to that, I have some beachfront property in Arizona. I would love to sell you.
Now, this is where people say, well, you act like you're smarter than me.
No. But what I'm saying is change your habits.
Yeah, I agree.
Treat email just like your mail.
Right. That is a good analogy.
If you're expecting it, that's great. Now, some phishing attempts, a lot of it's usually people that have control of money. They'll get something from the CEO that says, I need money now.
Right.
Or you're fired. Or they're from somebody in some position that you don't question. It never hurts to pick up the phone.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what I
say, hey, I just want to validate this.
And that's what I was talking with somebody today about with this whole phishing and getting stuff in the email. Like if somebody says they're going to click here to get this important file, and it says it's from one of your coworkers, or
call that coworker.
Yeah, pick up the phone, or if they're within walking distance, walk and say, "Hey, did you just send me this?" Because again, it's unexpected. If you weren't expecting them, now if they tell you, "Hey, I'm about to send you something,"
yeah.
More often than not, if it happens, if you receive it right after they say they're about to send it to you, it's probably legit.
Yes. If it is outside the regular course of your business,
right,
then in fact, delete it.
Right.
And if it was legitimate, they'll say, hey, did you ever get that? Oh, no, I did not. Can you send it again? Now you expect it.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I just think that I guess I'm sort of a person who really cares and would like to see people not fall for these things.
Sure.
And I admit I only can take so much on my meter.
Yeah.
And after that, I just get very frustrated because it feels like, and I'm going to say it again, I'm just talking and nobody's listening.
Yeah.
We talk
Talking
and
at the
nobody.
wall.
Yeah, we talk and nobody listens.
Just
and
talk
I don't
there.
think that's true.
Yeah.
It feels that way. I don't believe we're totally being ignored.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. It just feels that way in general. And I like some of your analogy that you gave. That's very good. Plus some of the other insights you had, and that's one reason I brought it up because I knew you'd have some good insight.
Yeah.
And I like your insight.
Well, thanks. I like my insight too.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I knew you would. Just ask yourself, right?
Just ask myself.
Yeah. And Guru always has good insight.
But
but I try.
But just treat it. And a lot of it is change your habits, change the way you think about email, because it is disconnected. It is soft. You don't get to touch and feel just like regular mail.
Right.
But look at it. It's exactly the same thing. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing too. I think a lot of people too get used to the fact that they have these spam filters because they don't receive as much junk mail as they used to in the past. And immediately, I mean, it's like the first thing you do whenever you open your mailbox is trash, because all this is just
well, the spam filters are doing a good job catching most spam. If it hits your inbox, you assume it's not spam.
Yes.
You assume it's good.
Yeah. So turn that off for a little while.
Okay, so
and you'll be like, "Oh my god!"
So go look at your spam folder.
Yeah,
I mean, who checks that frequently? I know I don't.
So the other thing is this.
There's not many like you.
The other thing is this: you can get a message that they've spoofed the way your messages look.
Yeah,
company.com sends out messages.
Mm-hmm.
This group has figured out how to make a message look very similar to company.com's message.
Yeah.
Okay. And the way that I think about it, and the mail example is great. The way I think about it is you can, with almost all your mail viewers, you can see you can look at the link. If you hover over most of these,
yes,
you can see at the bottom in the status bar what the link's going, where you're going to go, where will this take you. Now I know some things can be spoofed, and there's a lot of it's not foolproof.
Sure,
but if it doesn't say,
I would say majority of the time this works.
The majority of the time this works. If it doesn't say company.com. Or where you believe. So let's. And
but I would even say before that, if it's not something you expected, just delete it.
I know. I understand that. I agree. But I'm
don't even
talking,
hover above it.
I get it. But I'm talking about people that
are naturally curious.
Naturally curious is a great word, or a great term. Naturally curious.
And if you're concerned that it's truthful, contact the company directly.
Yeah. Okay.
If it's your bank, call your bank. If it's company.com. Contact company.com outside of that email.
So Amazon.com.
Don't take the number off the email.
Right.
No.
Right. See, what I'm getting at is this.
This is Peggy.
Right. Amazon.com. Say they could get you, hey, you're
ask for Jake at State Farm.
Amazon.com, blah, blah, blah. Okay. They sent you a message, or a group sent you a message. You think it's from Amazon.
Yeah.
But if you dig into it, you can easily find that, I think, most of the time, it's not from Amazon.
Yep.
And I've seen these. They've got Amazon dot something else. If you're not paying attention to, they've got a subnet before that.
Yeah.
And it's dot whatever,
Amazon,
whatever .it.
Amazon.com.imahacker.com.
Correct, right. Yeah. And we don't see the imahacker.com.
Yeah.
You see Amazon.com.
Oh, it's got to be.
Because people are inherently lazy and stop.
I know.
Like I said, 2 sentences into your email, okay, he wants something, whatever, click.
Right, I know. I guess I'm just saying but see, that's the frustration. Like, there are ways around this that you don't have to be a victim.
Don't be a victim.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm just frustrated about it.
Just assume every email is out to get you.
Yeah, I don't want to go that far, but I do believe you should have a healthy distrust, like you said, of your mail, of your email.
And treat it just like your mail.
I agree, and you've said it 3 times now.
And some precautionary things you can do, like have different passwords for different accounts.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
Well, you
don't use the same password across multiple entities.
That way, if you do fall for it, you're not compromising everything.
Yeah, you're just compromising that one thing.
Man, I'm telling you.
What?
Just
now.
If it wasn't for my water bill, I wouldn't need a mailbox.
Oh, okay.
Boy, I expect nothing.
He throws the whole thing. Matter of fact, he took his mailbox down.
Yeah.
So password managers, somebody that wants more power user that wants to use password managers. What do you recommend experts, Professor Password?
One of the podcasts I listen to, Security Now, Steve Gibson, I think he's a super smart guy.
Yeah.
But him and Leo Laporte both recommend LastPass.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend LastPass, period. Yes, it is inherently more secure than you keeping it in your head because you're going to use the same password everywhere. But it is.
It's not local, right?
LastPass, no.
Right, that's right.
It is stored on someone else's computer.
Sure, right.
I'm not saying it's stored in the cloud. It's stored on someone else's computer.
Correct, I get it.
Now, yes, all that's encrypted, blah, 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 blah. But was it OnePass recently had an issue where they were hacked, got the credentials, and then got
that's correct.
the key to unlock all the other stuff.
Oh.
So yes, it was encrypted with a backdoor essentially. But anyways, so yes, what I'm about to recommend is definitely more work on the end user. You have to keep up with it yourself. You are responsible for it. But KeyPass. And I'm sure there's other variants of it, but KeyPass that's what I use. I won't say whether I choose to store my mine online or not in some vault somewhere.
But you have the ability to store it somewhere up in the cloud.
Oh yeah,
to where you can have it on.
You could put it.
Have it on multiple
I
computers.
wouldn't recommend it, but you
could.
You could put it on Dropbox. You could put it on Google Drive. You could put it on. What is Apple's cloud?
What? No.
But just make sure whatever
Keychain.
Yeah,
no. But they use Keychain.
Mobile Me, is it still called that? No,
I have no idea. But
iCloud,
sure
iCloud.
whatever that password is that unlocks your vault is a complex password. Make that the most complex password that you can remember, and then that's the only password you have to remember.
Yeah. So does that work on mobile devices? Do they have like versions for iOS, Android, Windows Phone?
Yep.
Even Windows?
I don't know about Windows. Who cares about Windows?
BlackBerry running Windows Phone.
Who uses Windows?
I'm sorry for the 5 users left of Windows phones.
Okay.
But yes, I
apologize.
That is what I preferred. Am I saying that is the be all end all? Absolutely not. Absolutely not saying that.
So other people recommend LastPass, but you can't endorse it.
I cannot endorse it.
But that is an option.
But it is an option, and it is inherently safer than you just keeping the same password everywhere.
I hate to bring
making
this
up your own passwords.
I'm stepping out on a limb here.
But
there could be another reason why they're highly suggesting to use LastPass.
No, I don't think that is.
You don't think that's it?
No, I don't think they're an advertiser.
Oh,
at least not for that. Not for that show.
Okay.
And I mean, they do talk about there is a risk there. Anytime there's convenience, you are lessening security. So they do talk about that. But I'm like, why can you not just recommend KeyPass? But a lot of it is because it is less convenient, and I guess majority of the users don't like that. So keep it on a thumb drive on your keychain, and then keep one in a safe somewhere, and then you always have your backup.
Okay.
Yeah. Now syncing those across, occasionally you have to go back, and if you add a new password, you got to sync it.
So what were you going to talk about? You had something you wanted to bring up.
I did.
You said you did.
Oh, I do.
You do.
Oh,
sorry. I thought we all said.
So,
I want some.
I've talked about this. I've talked about this on the show before, but it just. I'm always interested in space. When the space shuttle when its heyday, especially once it was on the internet with you could watch more of the press conferences from NASA, and I followed it very closely.
Mm-hmm.
But now with SpaceX, and I've said this on the show before, SpaceX, those folks at SpaceX have just got it going on. And let me just tell you, they've already, in the last week, they've launched 2 rockets. One from Florida at Kennedy Space Center, one from Vandenberg Air Force Base. The Vandenberg one was, I think, Sunday. No? I can't remember. One day. Anyway, but here's the thing. This Sunday, they're going to have an attempt to launch yet another rocket from 39A at Kennedy Space Center.
Is that like Studio B, or is that Studio A?
Well, there's Launch Complex 39. That's where they launched the space shuttle, the Apollo program,
Okay.
I don't think the Gemini or the what was after Mercury, Gemini, Apollo. I think Apollo and the space shuttle were launched there, but SpaceX has leased 39B from NASA. And they're using that to launch rockets. But it's just, here's the thing: they're going to have 3 launches in less than 2 weeks here. And and basically, they're going to be launching this Sunday in Intelsat Communications, Inmarsat. That's right. That's wrong.
So when can I go to space?
Well,
when's it going to be cheap enough?
I think later this year they're supposed to start.
When can I afford to go? Not when can a rich man?
Well, you are a rich man.
No, I'm rich in other things.
That's true.
Now, I will tell you somewhere else they're going to, and that is they have finished the first phase of digging a hole under L.A.
Man, did we watch that video?
No.
Man, that is so neat.
Why are they digging a hole in their
boring? They're boring through the ground.
Is this Elon Musk?
Yeah, Elon Musk. They have finished their first segment.
Company.
I think it is.
Dude, it's gonna be so.
But let me say this too.
I will pay to write it.
I know I'm kind of just. This is like very tangent. I'm not really forming thoughts very well, but I'm gonna put a link in the show notes about an article from Spaceflight Now about this launch coming up and what they're doing at SpaceX. Go read about SpaceX. Go to the YouTube channel, watch some of the stuff. But here's what's fascinating: that's the first stage of this Falcon 9 rocket. They time after time after time are successfully bringing it back to Earth, not putting it in the ocean. No, they are landing the thing vertically on either landing pads on Earth or most of the time these drone barges out in the sea. And the last one that they landed launched off California. They landed it on a drone ship. And after the thing, they had like a camera on the first stage, so it was like a looking down, and it was coming down, and it cleared the clouds, and you saw it fire the rockets to slow it down. It just touched, boom. And then they showed a shot actually on the barge, and that ship was just a pitching. I mean, it was probably 10 or 12 foot seas, and it's just amazing to me. Not that they can land it, but
to land it in the desert. Just saying. But and have everybody command and control 20 miles away.
You would think.
But I mean, that they're able to do this, and they'll refurbish this rocket and relaunch it, and they've relaunched these rockets before.
Come in, do some refurb work, send it back out.
I mean, and it goes back to somebody was talking about this on, I don't know if it was a podcast or what, but it was a podcast. You know, the Apollo area, we was trying to beat the Russians to the moon as Americans, and then the space shuttle, and the government ran that, NASA, and they had this, almost, it wasn't unlimited funding, but they had gobs and gobs of money. And it goes back to how our government unfortunately runs, is they had to spend all the money in that physical year, because if they didn't spend it,
you wouldn't get it back.
You wouldn't get it next year.
Yeah.
And now, since commercial companies like SpaceX and others have gotten into the game, they don't operate that way.
Nope.
And they're trying to be efficient, but yet still perform the job in a safe manner.
Yes.
So they're doing this for a lot less money than it was costing NASA to launch this stuff. And I think there's a launch coming up in
a lot of the R&D has already been done. I would
that is true too.
After this launch on Sunday, SpaceX won't have a launch until August. They're taking a couple weeks kind of between
taking
them.
a vacation.
But the next one is going to be they're actually going to launch.
This rocket's been working hard. Give them a break.
Yeah. But the one in August, they're actually going to launch they're going to launch payload to the International Space Station.
Nice.
Yeah, that's true. They got the contract. I think, to do take payloads to the International Space.
Yes,
it's exciting times, man.
But now the other thing that Bruce brought up, I wanted to add something too. I think part of this is Elon said, "Oh, you said we couldn't do this. Oh, we're going to do this.
We can't.
Trust me.
All right.
We're going to land this thing on a floating ship out in the ocean, baby.
It's desert. That's too easy."
Yeah, right. And you're going to watch us do it.
Flat Earth.
Yeah, landing in a desert is nothing.
We're
going to do this on a ship.
Hey, watch this. Hey, hold my drink. Watch this.
Yeah, hold my drink. Watch this.
But
so anyway,
what gets me is the name of the drone ships. One of them is called "Just Read the Instructions." That's the name of it.
Just read the instructions.
Yes,
it's not the boring company.
And but here's the other one. They're fun. They're getting fun with this. And the other drone ship is called "Of Course I Still Love You." Yes, I'm serious.
Well, when we come back, the Hey Techies show will move right along.
Maybe we'll read the instructions.
Nah, it's more fun this way.
Oh man, all our segments are coming up. Stay tuned.
This week in tech history, Hey Techies show coming up.
HeyTechiesShow.com. Open 24/7, as long as we don't forget to pay the bill.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladica Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
You're listening to the Hey Techies Show on WLJS Jacksonville.
Guru pulled out an oldie.
Yeah, bring back some memories of my recent cruise.
Oh.
They're expecting you, Michael.
Yeah. By the way, HeyTechiesShow.com, and we'll get you all caught up on everything that's going on with the Hey Techies Show.
You can go there and win prizes.
What? You cannot go there and win prizes. That is as fake news as it gets.
Yeah.
You can win prizes of downloading podcasts.
Yeah, for free. For free. Yes. Yeah. Well, it is now time.
Bruce just realized it. I love it.
For this week in tech history, presented by the Guru.
We need to
once he pulls it up.
We need to get a sponsor for this segment.
Sponsored by me.
I know. I would love to have one. If you want to sponsor this segment, let me know.
Go to patreon.com.
We don't have a Patreon.
Well, no. We couldn't do that, but you could sponsor to the university.
Absolutely.
Through this segment.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, all donations would go to them.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So, are you ready, Bruce?
No.
Well,
am I ever?
Too bad. So your date is June 29th, 2007.
Oh, dude, that's easy. That's the iPhone.
You're right.
Dude, that's easy.
You have to play the music all the way through.
No. I didn't have to think about that very long at all. I was like...
Wait a minute. It was the iPhone, but what was... It was the what of
the first one. It was
the
debut. What are you looking for?
It was the day it went on sale.
Debut is the day it went on sale, so we'll take it.
Yeah, I know. We were, it seems like one of my headphones seems to be.
I think it's on.
No, I think the system has got a weird deal over it. I don't think that's it.
Okay.
Anyway,
I thought it was just me.
So yes, you're right. So Apple changed the smartphone world, the cell phone world.
I will give them credit.
Yes, because they announced this back in January, but June 29th, exactly 10 years ago today. 10 years ago, the original iPhone came out. And I actually pulled out my first generation iPhone today and charged it, which is about dead now. But this is like running iOS 3. And I haven't used this thing since like sometime in 2010 because I was pulling. It still had emails on there, and the last time it checked in for emails 2010. It won't check in now, but I think I've changed my passwords and stuff.
Worthless.
But it's just neat. It was nostalgic because I was like I wanted to unlock it. Well, it's dead now. It's not coming on. But I wanted to pull down to do like the spotlight search.
Yeah.
And it didn't work that way back then. So.
Well, of course not.
But I do have something here that I put together. It's about 2.5 minutes. If we got time, This was the announcement from January of 2007 where Steve Jobs came out on stage and announced the iPhone. So give y'all a minute to listen to this.
This is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years.
There's Steve.
Every once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything. And Apple has been, well, first of all, one's very fortunate if you get to work on just one of these in your career. Apple's been very fortunate. It's been able to introduce a few of these into the world. Well, today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. The first one is a widescreen iPod with touch controls.
I had one of those.
The second is a revolutionary mobile phone.
Never wanted one of those.
And the third is a breakthrough internet communications device.
Apparently not as thrilling.
Three things: a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it?
Yeah, woo.
These are not three separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
To be fair, I had a phone that ran Windows that did all those things before the iPhone came out. It was not as elegant.
Was it multi-touch? Didn't have multi-touch. You had to use a stylus.
I didn't have to use a stylus.
It wasn't multi-touch, though. That's highly patented by Apple.
It was not multi-touch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's highly patented.
But you have to admit, though, even if you're an iPhone, even if you're an iPhone hater, well, they just paid for it. Even if you're an iPhone, I'll say hater, but you don't have to hate. But
I don't
anyway,
hate it. I think they did a great.
If
thing
you're not,
with it.
if you're not on the Apple camp with mobile devices, you've got to admit they brought all that stuff mainstream with the iPhone.
Yeah, absolutely. They made it sexy.
I tell you what I noticed about this. You could take that recording, and play that in that right now at any of these other Apple events, and that would be exactly the way they do them. That would be exactly
that's their way.
That is, I'm just telling you, that would be the exact tone, the exact way. I mean, that they would be, if you cut out the woos and just played that with a robot up their mouthing, they'd be, woo, we're getting a new device, woo, it's gonna be it's 3-in-1, woo, and toast bread, woo. I'm serious.
I will say
they are really.
This is the last time Apple did something. Did something first. But even then, they really didn't. They just did it better.
Well,
but I was like, we're adding this to this device.
To our guests from earlier in the show that are Apple users, just don't listen to these two boys. They don't know what to talk about.
I am not. I told you that
I'm for whatever gets the job done.
I told you I think they make great products.
I think they make great products.
They last long. I mean, for crying out loud, that thing still boots. It's 10 years old.
And then it shuts down.
Well, the battery's
dead. That's a natural thing.
I took this thing today and plugged it in. Once it got enough charge, it came right on.
Well, to be fair, I had a Dell laptop that was 15 years old that still worked.
I know.
Well, I'm gonna put this up in 10 years from now. We'll bring it back out at 20 years.
I hope not. Well, no, I changed that. I hope that is a possibility.
Yeah.
I hope that would be absolutely great.
Yeah, well, this market.
It's not gonna work. It's
so
the battery's gonna explode. I don't know. So I got that date right. Man, that's 2 for 2.
It is amazing.
I'm going to have to make it harder. I did it. I honestly made it easy because of being 10 years for this.
I halfway expected it, but I was like, no, surely he's not going to pick something.
No, because I got that clip.
And then when you said that, and I was like,
the clip was good.
10 years ago. That was a good clip.
So have you heard about this? So
are we in rumors?
No.
Okay.
We don't have any rumors.
We're just in general.
We got 5 minutes left.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. McDonald's, their stock has reached an all-time high.
How? I thought they were struggling.
They announced a rollout of automated ordering kiosks.
So people are investing.
That will be replacing cashiers in 2,500 stores across the U.S.
There you go. Of their cashiers.
Well, this is a Breitbart article. CNBC is reporting, according to this article, that McDonald's shares have reached an all-time high following an announcement of automated ordering kiosks replacing cashiers in 2,500 stores across the country. So it's not all of them. The fast food chain shares increased in value by 26% this year compared to the S&P 500's 10% return.
I'll say this. I know we only have a few minutes left, but I feel the need to voice this.
Go for it.
I was in Target earlier this week, and the person I was with said, "Do you want to go through self-checkout?" And I said, "Absolutely not."
They have self-checkout at Target?
Yeah.
This one here locally?
Oh, no, I wasn't here.
Oh, okay.
But I said, no, absolutely not. I'm going to go, interact with a human being.
Okay.
And keep someone in a job. Granted, it is a low-skilled, low-level job. That person needs that job. Now,
but all of us, I think, we started at some sort of
low-level, low-skilled job.
And I used to be a cashier at a big box store at one point in my life.
And even for some, they're like, they have gone through that, and they're like, I'm back down here. This is all I want to do. But it pays my bills. That's all I need. Now, I don't know. Can they be doing something else? Who knows? I know it's the responsibility of the company to max returns to the shareholders, blah, blah, blah. All that money trickles down, the fantasy that goes. But, that's just my personal... I go for the person whenever I go through the line.
I see that. Here's the thing, though. I have a personal story that happened recently, too.
Yeah.
I was in Walmart, and there was no 20 or under item line open.
Yeah.
I had one item, and all the other lines were full of big carts.
I mean, I'm not going to say
so
I really you for doing it.
I didn't say you were.
Yeah.
I'm making a point that I do see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I too like to interact with other people.
Yeah.
I too like to go through a regular checkout. But I wasn't going to stand in line for one item, and I didn't have a lot of time. So I actually did use a self-checkout the other day, which I don't often do.
Yeah, I don't often do it.
But at that time,
I've never done
it was extremely convenient to do so.
But then you should be mad at the company.
Yes, I was actually for not having the right checkout open.
It's easy to get mad at certain stores. When you walk in, there's lines
I need
to
back
China
up. I wasn't angry with the company. It's just frustrating to. Well, that's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it really is.
They have, irrelevant of how you feel about it, they do have a bottom line, and if that bottom line does not do well, then there's going to be less employees. That's just true. That's just facts.
But now, I will say this: what is unfair is, well, we're getting off topic. Well, I was going to say like the drugstores where they have the same person stocking in, ringing up, and you've got to wait for them to come up.
Well, that's kind of different. I mean, because they're
that's
told
a smaller footprint.
Yeah, and they're told
Walgreens is not a small footprint.
Well, it ain't the person's fault that you're interacting with. They were instructed by somebody. You're doing this.
I'm not saying
no. He's not saying
I'm not
that.
faulting the person. I never fault the employee.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're just doing their job.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, they're being instructed to do that.
Certain circumstances.
But it goes back to we've got to people, and especially young people.
No, in any circumstance.
Anyway, we got a minute left.
Company for hiring.
We've got to retrain our workforce, and those that are coming up, we've got to expose them to opportunities to where once they get out of high school, whether they go straight into the workforce or whether they go get a certificate at a community college, get a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, whatever.
Yeah.
But we got to, and like what they're doing with robotics is great. They're exposing it to them at a younger age so they can get excited about this stuff. And if they want to pursue it, because these 3 students we had here tonight, you think they would have any idea about engineering and computer science if they hadn't done that at White Plains? Probably not.
I disagree with
maybe
that.
Maybe one of them. What was the guy here at the end?
Jacob.
Jacob. He's a techie. I can tell that. That's awesome. So he probably just like, here, just step aside. Let me program this.
Yeah.
That's good, though.
I wouldn't say they wouldn't know anything about it. Would they have had as much exposure? Absolutely not.
Yeah, maybe that's
I mean, I was 4 years old and I knew I wanted to go into computers. And that wasn't because some school exposed me to it. That was because of my own self. Yeah, I was interested in those things.
Well, folks, it has come to the end.
Yes.
Another one in the books.
Of the rope.
Yeah, and thank you to the White Plains Robotics for
Yes.
coming on again.
Yes.
You'll hear more from those folks.
Proud of them. Way to represent this area. That's all I can
From
say.
Bruce, Guru, and myself.
The Techies Show is produced by The Guru and co-produced by Mike Stedham. Join us again next time for another exciting installment of the Hey Techies Show. It's going to be great, maybe.